losing Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's gonna have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's gonna leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable, and does get taken out there by Cloudy. Another potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. Casey out
just hits Steph on low health with that snipe Q. Steph is going to be the second fight. Alright, but getting the simple going right in on Cloud, getting the stun, getting that hook from the Sivir.
So CC everywhere here, and immediately a double stun there by Slim Casey. Huge CC there. Luke Silver though does get taken out. Another CC there, but it's going to be a double kill. Down to 2v1, Silver and Slim Casey both focusing Steph there as Malphite, and it's going to be...
I'm just going to take a little bit of damage, but New Silver getting blown up by that Kai'Sa, doing a little bit of damage there, but Amumu just surviving enough to get a little bit more damage back off them.
There, I'm not sure, Steph's going to have the staying power, does not there, and that's going to be a big pick there for Cloudy. They do lead 2-1 on the turrets, and they might be able to pick off Cloudy. They do, shut down here by Slim Casey as Amumu. Steph again stunned. Has to retreat as Malphite. Cloudy does take out Luke Silver, which is a big pick for Seal9. Slim Casey as well taken out. Cloudy, and comes Malphite, goes unstoppable. Does with a massive ult there as Malphite there. He's going to take out for Slim Casey. He's managing almost to get Steph all the way down, but it's Cloudy that's there to finish potentially soon after Luke Silver. Targeted again, it's 12-6 here. Still Slim Casey yet to respawn. Now second turret down, and that is going to be a clean sweep for Seal9. 2-0 in the best of two. All 3 points. Domination.
Malphite, and unfortunately that is a double kill.
But now Pastalover, it does fall against Impromptu here. It's now 2v1, and it's a huge double kill now on the heels, and they will get that pick against gets the roots there. And now everyone is very low. Pastalover takes down Impromptu first, but Kisuna Maizon now with a huge double kill wipes out Svete Vyshesny.
Jin here with the upgraded Infinity Edge, which is incredibly strong, especially.
But immediately Mordecai is getting ripped to shreds. Coco Slayer lands the pick down. Kisuna Maizon, a huge love and Coco Slayer. I've never seen someone self-promote go around like that quickly, to be honest with you. But Impromptu gets the revenge pick on Pastalover now. 7-6. pick there, I believe. They do 2-0 now on the turrets here and 7-1 on the killboard. Continuing on with a massive pick down on the player. It may well be 8-1. It is a double kill for Pantheon. Trying to hold their advantage as best as possible here. Now stunned though. Shut down Impromptu and less than 12 minutes, Grompies are going to take match 2. The first engage, they're taunted though. 2v1 stun now is Slim KZ, and you'd have to say that is going to be first blood for Steph Ash.
But yeah, both teams not equal, but LeBlanc catching that
max HP. But now Steph and Slim now engaging Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's going to have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's going to leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable. And does get taken out there by Cloudy. Another potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. Slim KZ out of the
just hits Steph on low health with that spike Q. That's the second fight. Alright, but getting the simple going right in on the pad, getting the stun, getting that hook from the Sivir.
Some CC everywhere here, and immediately a double stun there by Slim KZ. Huge CC there. Luke Silver though does get taken out. Another CC there, but it's going to be a double kill. Down 2v1 Silver and Slim KZ, both focusing Steph there as Malphite, and it's going to be.
I'm just going to take a little bit of damage, but New Silver getting blown up by that Kai'Sa, doing a little bit of damage there, but Amumu just surviving enough to get a little bit more damage back off them.
There, I'm not sure. Steph's going to have the staying power, does not there, and that's going to be a big pick there for Cloudy. They do need 2-1 on the turrets, and they might be able to pick off Cloudy. They do shut down here by Slim KZ as Amumu. Steph again stunned. Has to retreat as Malphite. Cloudy does take out Luke Silver, which is a big pick for Seal9. Slim KZ as well taken out. Cloudy, and comes Malphite, goes unstoppable. Does with a massive ult there as Malphite there. He's going to take out for Slim KZ. He's managing almost to get Steph all the way down, but it's Cloudy that's there to finish potentially soon after. Luke Silver targeted again. It's 12-6 here. Still Slim KZ yet to respawn. Now second turret down, and that is going to be a clean sweep for Seal9. 2-0 in the best of 2. All 3 domination. But now Pasta Lover, it does fall against Impromptu here. It's now 2v1, and it's a huge double kill now on the heels, and they will get that pick against. It gets the roots there, and now everyone is very low. Pasta Lover takes down Impromptu first, but Kisuna Maizon now with a huge double kill wipes out Svete Vyshesini.
Jin here with the upgraded Infinity Edge, which is incredibly strong, especially.
But immediately Mordecai is getting ripped to shreds. Coco Slayer lands the pick down. Kisuna Maizon, a huge lover and Coco Slayer. I've never seen someone South Park go around quite that quickly, to be honest with you. But Impromptu gets the big pick on Pasta Lover now. 7-6. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to twitch.tv/Hive Esports games for week 5 of season 1 of the Hive Esports League of Legends series, our weekly Aram Mayhem 2v2 tournament right now that is just reaching its halfway point. We're 2/3 of the way through the league phase, just 2 weeks to go before the playoffs after the Easter break. We've got two big games in the playoff race on today. It's the top 4 teams all going against each other. Game 1, Seal9, the current league leaders, will take on Ultimus, with Yowie Addicts recovering, taking on Grompies, the other joint league leaders, as you see on your left-hand side in the second game. So, right off the bat, this is a hugely important week as the teams at the top 4, essentially decide the fate of the bottom 2 as the hopes of progression for Nat and Joe and of Sveti Vyshesny hang in the balance a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, Nat and Joe and Sveti Vyshesny do have some games left. So if the two teams on 4 points don't score anything, then Sveti Vyshesny unfortunately will remain in the elimination bracket. However, Nat and Joe will be tied for that fourth place spot. I'll get there eventually. But yes, however, despite only having 2 games completed, Ultimus, or 3 games, sorry. Have they done 3 games or 2 games? I can't remember.
Not sure, actually.
I was going to say, because I'm pretty sure they've done 2 games and they're on 4 points already. So pretty strong contenders, like you've mentioned. Some pretty big games going on today. Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a big night for these 4 teams. Of course, we have started to sort of break out the calculators as we get towards the business end of the league phase, and the stipulation is that Grompies and Seal9 can automatically progress to the playoffs a week early, even if they just draw their games.
Wow.
So that immediately takes a lot of the pressure off. If they get that 1 point, that will boost them 4 points above the elimination zone, which is A-OK, super safe. Obviously, a win will do the same thing.
Yeah.
Team Ultimus and Yowie Addicts recovering, they have to win to clinch a playoff spot early. If they draw, there is still a chance they'll be eliminated. And of course, if they win, then they'll clinch, and then still Grompies and Seal9 won't necessarily be safe. Nat and Joe and Flowers and Autumn at the bottom, they have to rely on other teams losing. In fact, Sveti Vyshesny can't finish higher than 4th because they will lose to Yowie Addicts already on head-to-head. So they can only beat Team Ultimate. So that immediately puts them in a very difficult spot. They're not out of it, but they definitely have their backs against the wall, especially as they're not playing this week. They have to wait till next week. So knowing potentially the players as well, because obviously they will know these stipulations if they've read up, does that potentially add that little bit of pressure to these teams? Could that change potentially sort of the expectations of what we might see tonight?
Well, we do know pressure changes people, so, you know, hopefully people will thrive under the pressure instead of cracking under it, but we don't know. So, yeah, it's gonna definitely, like you mentioned, put a lot of pressure on the people in the bottom. However, also, like you mentioned, despite only needing 1 point, the people in the top are pretty much cruising at the moment. However, they do have a 3-week break after this to lock in, practice, train, and become the best versions of themselves for Hive Esports. So they definitely have a lot of time to get that spot. So pressure, but hopefully not too much.
Definitely. Well, they do say pressure makes diamonds, and
True.
of course, Seal9 and Team Ultimus, they're the first on the card. We'll take a look quickly at Seal9, the current league leaders. That team is made up of Steph and Cloudy. As you can see, 2 draws and then 1 win, which they achieved in their 3rd game, a 2-0 sweep against Nat and Joe. As you can see, for Steph, their favourite character to play, their favourite champ is Kane, and Cloudy, a Hui player. They like to be aggressive but tactical. We've seen how good they've been in team fights. We've seen them, I think they beat Nat and Joe, I think 11-3 on the kill score in their first game last week, so we know how good they are in team fights, and that could be crucial, as we've seen. And they also love to commit self-B-side, as it were. The self-execute is referring to the turrets, so that you don't give them the credit for that. We'll discuss more about Ultimus in a little while. We've ran out of time a little bit, so we'll jump straight into game one of the evening. The first match will be coming up in a little while, and as we saw at the bottom of the player profile as well, George, we have each team has a whimsy score, and Seal9's was 6.7.
Hold the freaking phone, okay? Cloudy is on Xayah. Xayah is my babe. Xayah is my queen. I am a Xayah main. Okay, I'm very happy to see this, by the way. Apologies, yes, the whimsy score had to be 6.7. What else could it be? It is Steph and Cloudy. The 6-7ers. Especially Steph, the 6-7ers. But yes, like we mentioned, Cloudy here on Xayah, my queen, my Shayla. Steph here on Renekton, with Entity on Draven and Pith on Katarina. Katarina being another champion that I enjoy quite a lot, but I believe Pith is a bit of a Katarina player, or an OG Katarina player at least. So a lot of contention in this game. But yeah, both teams seemingly even, both with an ADC and both with a bit of an engaged champion, so looking forward to this one.
So team comps looking roughly the same so far. 2 minutes in, just some warning shots right now. I do wonder if Seal9 know that all they need is a draw and that they're playing a bit more passive, just trying to play it safe. Team Ultimus not in that same optimal position. They do need a win to clinch, so already that is the situation at hand. Two teams with vastly different ways to qualify for the playoffs. Still 2.5 minutes and only range combat. No one yet to dive, but we know how aggressive Seal9 can be, and they can very much turn it on sort of unexpectedly. We've seen them jump in and dive a lot into those team fights and do well doing it. So we'll have to wait and see, but the timer ticks now over to 3 minutes. And right now it's just econ. Everyone's just collecting gold, letting their minion waves do the work, and not really fighting too much at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. Seal9 have to play this one a little bit more strategically, as Katarina and Draven are champions that scale really well with their items. So when we get to see the player card later, I did mention that Ultimus are players that like to play slow, but then have incredibly bursty comebacks, which Seal9 are definitely going to have to look out for. But Draven is a character that, while playing aggressive, does need to get those minions for his adoration stacks, which essentially give him gold after getting takedown. So they could get a really early lead, and it could be very beneficial for them.
Definitely going to be a tale of two play styles here. Seal9 very much branded by their aggression and their coordination in their team fights, and just their pure sort of their killing machines almost. Ultimus definitely more of the slow, calculated approach that sort of aims to be there at the end of the game when it's crunch time and we're starting to take out turrets and inhibitors. But still, nearly 5 minutes in, first blood yet to be drawn. Still, the name of the game for both of these teams, as they both are on the exact same amount of gold. It's just econ. In fact, very little damage being done as well. No player here below even 75% of their max HP here. But we do have some ults charging up. Cloudy and Entity both bearing down on their ultimate abilities. But still 5 minutes down, no damage being done at the minute.
Yeah, just waiting for one of the teams to go in a little bit, but obviously Xayah is a champion that thrives on characters going in, so Katarina's going to struggle a little bit on that. But Steph also knows that if they go in, they're going to have to run the risk of giving Draven that kill, which will give him that gold lead. So unfortunately for both teams, they're going to have to play this like pretty slow, pretty strategically. But in a way that kind of makes it interesting, because I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. Because it really depends who goes in first, but whoever goes in first runs the risk of accidentally giving the enemy team a bigger advantage. Katarina going in to get a little bit of poke on Cloudy there. Entity with a little bit of follow-up, Steph waiting in that bush, lurking for something, but nothing available.
Still nobody home. 6 minutes into combat here in match 1 of game 1. This is first versus third in the league phase, but no minion waves anymore as act as a buffer, but still Piff out of that engagement. Lickety split there, not wanting any of that smoke at the minute as the minions come back in, so that buffer still remaining. This may well be a very long drawn out game unless we start seeing some fights very, very, very soon here. I think everyone's charging up their abilities now, some heals for Seal9. And just everyone very much hanging back. It's just sort of glancing blows with whatever ranged ability these guys have. They're just trying to sort of fire some warning shots at their opposition, but we're nowhere near first blood at the minute. Steph has gone all kinds of transparent there over on the top left-hand side. But no engagement, still 7 minutes in. I don't know about you, George. I'm running out of things to commentate on.
No, that's completely fair. I mean, there's not really much to talk about in the game, so maybe we just have a bit of a gab. Honestly,
Yeah,
gab. I've been enjoying the word gab recently.
Gab?
I heard about it on a game. A mini game within a game called Gift of Gab, Where Winds Meet, if you've heard of that. A mini game called Gift of Gab. Look at them having little jiggle.
They're dancing.
Yeah.
This is serious business.
This
is top level esports.
Wow. I'm not so sure about that.
These are the best in the world.
I wish, okay? If they were the best in the world, I would be like, give me coaching lessons, okay? I want one. Cloudy going in for a little bit of poke on Entity there, but not finding much off of it.
I think Steph is getting the same vibes that we are from this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is a game right now.
Yeah, honestly, not complaining, you know. I'm straight out of a nap, okay? I would be tripping over my words if a lot was going on. However, I do fear past like 10 minutes it's going to be incredibly explosive. All it takes is one person to die and it's just kaboom.
Definitely. It's going to be a case of once first blood is drawn, all hell will break loose. But I think this by far is the longest we've waited for first blood. Steph teasing us there with a half dive. He knows. We've got a double CC there. On Ultimus there, I think we might just be getting close to that first blood. 8.5 minutes. This will definitely have been the longest we've waited. But again, just back to passiveness. With Seal9 letting their minions do the work. They've taken out a third of that first turret, which will be important. Of course, that is the aim of the game. It's not purely picks and KDA. It is all about those turrets and eventually the win condition, taking out that Nexus at the end of the lane. Of course, single lane. Very different to regular League of Legends, which has 3 lanes and 2 jungles. This is simply mid lane. Try and get to the end and take out the Nexus, but nearly 10 minutes on the clock still. 0-0 on the kill score, 0-0 on the turrets. Only chip damage so far. And really, I think both teams keeping their cards close to their chest, really, in terms of their playstyle, not wanting to give too much away.
Indeed. Kind of crazy to think that I think it was Yaoi Addicts had a game that finished in just under 10 minutes. And this game hasn't even started. That's hilarious. I love that. The diversity of Hive Esports, okay?
Celebrating all types of different playstyles.
True.
Albeit some of them far more difficult to commentate on and watch than others. But we're not going to tell people how to play. If this is how they end up winning, then fair play to them.
The B trophy.
Exactly.
Something to take quick note of. Katarina going in for some poke on the Xayah, but Steph jumping in on Entity and Katarina at the same time, but not finding much. Getting quite a bit of chip damage, but not taking much himself, thanks to that self-healing on his Q. But yeah, sorry, the 150 Adoration stacks on Draven. If this man gets a kill, he's going to get like 500 gold. That's like
going to be big.
The longer this goes on, the what is it when they say like the tension could be cut with a knife? Okay, the more tense it gets.
Yes, absolutely. And we saw this actually in the very first week, very first game between Nat and Joe and Team Ultimus. In terms of Team Ultimus very much hanging back, letting the other team do the work. And I think Seal9 have got the same approach. So now it's a very, very tense opening 10 minutes here, but we are now potentially closing in on our first big team fight. Cloudy very low as Zaya there, but now Piff engaged by Steph. Steph looking very, very strong. Does take out Piff. 1-0 to Seal9. Only took 11 minutes. And now Team Ultimus are with their back against the wall here, and it'll be a double kill for Steph as Renekton 2-0, and they will start to work on that first turret, you would have to imagine. And here we go. Down to half, down to a third. It's going to be 10 seconds before either Piff or Entity are back on the field. And it is a first turret destroyed. 1-0 to Seal9. They take the early advantage, and they will now execute on the turret, as we mentioned early on, so that they don't give Ultimus the credit for the pick. And so they will restart in about 20-30 seconds, being able to buy all the augments that they want. And they will restart with a 2-0 kill lead and the first turret destroyed. So a very good start for Seal9.
Indeed, especially as they were the ones to get that kill on Draven first, denying him of all of that gold. However, he won't lose all of the adoration stacks. He'll still have a few left over, but yeah, they're gonna speedily take this turret.
Wow.
Well, considering their levels and the items they have, that's I'd say that's pretty average for that to be taken. But Zaya and Renekton will be joining the fray again.
Absolutely, and it's all tied up 1-1 on the turrets. Of course, Seal9 take a 2-0 lead on the kill board, but that is not going to be having any effect on the final score. If it ends up that Team Ultimus take out the Nexus, that 2-0 lead will be for naught. So it's currently all tied up at the minute, and judging by the fact we've got two perfectly healthy teams, both with the same amount of turrets destroyed, I fear we might be having another 11 minutes of just sitting back. I really hope not.
True. Well, Draven's back at 150 stacks of adoration, so he's definitely going to be looking, want to be looking for something. Something I did notice as well, though, Steph with the augment drop kick, which allows him to execute enemies under like a certain amount of health. I'm not sure how much, but I think it scales with his health or something. I'm not sure. But that heals him in fights as well. So getting a kill on Steph, or Steph getting a kill first is going to be pretty beneficial. It's going to give him a lot of survivability. Whether or not he goes for the Katarina or Draven first, we don't know. However, I personally think going for the Draven would be more beneficial just to get rid of those adoration stacks. But yeah. You know what? This is a chill game. Okay?
This is a chill game.
I'm not going to complain about this.
That's say we're sat back, we're chilling.
We're chilling.
I've not raised my voice once so far.
No.
So I think they know. The commentators, we struggle with keeping our voices going the whole way. I think they're knowing that, and they're just
true.
They're letting us chill.
Going in, but snowballing backwards, which was not an incredible play, but an interesting one indeed. Quite funny to see, but Entity left on pretty low health here. Steph looking in for a little bit of another engage as well. With that fluff of horror is going to do a little bit of extra damage.
Entity below half as well.
Indeed.
So definitely wounded. Our Team Ultimus now with that 2-0 deficit on the kill board. They have taken out Seal9's first turret though, as Steph gets some CC on Entity. Nobody home though in terms of a pick, but down to about a third of Entity's max HP. Cloudy just hanging back, waiting for some heals of their own here. But again, Steph just trying to look for an engage, trying to capitalize on the lower health that Ultimus currently have. Down to half health is their second turret as well. So I think Ultimus are going to have to engage to stop that turret from getting taken down, and they do manage to push Seal9 back just a little bit here and stall them for just a few moments, but no minions either side, so no buffer between these two. Just trying to peek behind the turret, but the second turret is going to go down. It's 2-1 to Seal9, and they're going to CC Entity as well, and they will get a 3-0 lead. Steph on a killing spree with 3 kills so far, and they are going to take up the inhibitor as well. They've turned on the style late on here. Have Seal9 now Piff all by himself here. Maybe in deep, deep trouble. It'll be 20 seconds before Entity is back in the game, and they're going to stop the inhibitor from respawning, potentially taking out that turret. It's 4-0 now to Seal9 with a huge pick there for Steph. 1 turret destroyed. Going to try and take up the second. Entity is going to respawn in about 5 seconds. Piff won't be here for a while, and this could be over very, very quickly. And they do take the lead, so Seal9 will be in the playoffs. In Season 1 of the League of Legends series, we went from not even having first blood to completely storming the game in under 5 minutes. Seal9 turned it up to 11 very, very quickly there.
Yeah, blinked, looked away for a second, game was over. I was like, huh? I was, like you said, I was expecting it to go on a little bit longer, but unfortunately Draven was unable to cash out on those adoration stacks, so wasn't able to scale quite as well as Xayah and Renekton. Renekton, another one of those champions like Pantheon, does really well in the early game, so the longer the game goes on, he would have gotten weaker, but really strong early. But Xayah carried. Xayah won that game. I would have been really upset. You might have sent me as a B decoration if Xayah lost, or if Xayah didn't get picked, actually. But yeah, love Xayah, my Shayla. Thank you for picking her.
Definitely, and I think just based off what we saw in that first game, I think probably one of the more dominant victories. I think Seal9 really, really have got this 2v2 ARAM figured out, because they took down Ultimus's turrets and the Nexus and everything in about 5 minutes. Like those last 4 turrets went down, I think, in the space of a minute. Yep. They really, really turned on the style late on there. I think that just shows what they're capable of with that aggression that we mentioned before. But we spoke at length already about Seal9 just before the game. We'll take a look at how Team Ultimus do shape up here with their player profiles that will be coming on the screen momentarily. You see Piff and Entity, of course, making up.
Sorry, I love this. For every other player profile, we included both champions. This one includes Zac, but when Zac dies, he becomes this thing. And I had a little devil on my shoulder called Steph who told me to include this, and I was giggling. I could not. How could I not include that? I'm sorry. And we have this now. But yeah, their favorite champions are Yasuo and Zac, Piff and Entity. Their playstyle, slow until power spikes, as we mentioned, as we saw and have seen. Unfortunately, they were just unable to hit those power spikes, but if they did, I fear it would have been a really difficult game for Seal9. And slow and steady wins the race.
Definitely, although it did not win the last race, but we've seen, obviously, they've got that 2-0 victory against Nat and Joe from week 1. And they did tie up with Grompies in week 2, or their second game. I don't think it was week 2, it was week 3 or something. Maybe week 4, something like that, for their second game. So it's a proven strategy. It does work. It's just, I think it doesn't quite work against Seal9 because of how aggressive they are. They tend to get the jump on them. And Ultimus don't quite have the time on their hands to build up. Because I think if they got an extra 5 or 10 minutes out of that, I think, as you mentioned, that Draven scaling would have been really, really big for them. Of course, it's very champ dependent. Of course, if they have the correct scaling, that gives them that long run potency. But if there's nothing going, if the game's over before you even worry about scaling, then that strategy goes out the window a little bit. But 5 on the Whimsy scale, so a little bit lower than Seal9's score of 6.7. So how exactly do we score Whimsy in these stats?
That's a really good question. I kind of just think about them and a number comes to mind. I say it's the bee gods. Some people say it's schizophrenia, but we'll never know. I gave them a 5 specifically because I know Piff is a very whimsical player. He's a very whimsical person. I see him flashing sometimes. I see him dancing quite often. But Entity is locked in. Entity is beelining for victory for the B, okay? So they were very 50-50. 5 felt very appropriate. Yeah. If anyone thinks I'm wrong, fight me on Threads. Twitter.
Threads.
Fight me, okay? I'm ready. Don't know why.
Diss track season.
Hive diss track, okay? Yeah. Yeah, if you disagree with the whimsy scores, not my problem. I'm kidding. If you disagree with the whimsy score, let me know and I will consider.
Let us know in the
changing it.
chat,
Yeah.
which is over there, I think.
Where? There.
Wherever
somewhere.
it may be. Let us know in the chat.
Somewhere. Yes, let us know. We will reconsider. But I think I did a pretty good job on them, especially 6.7 for Steph and Cloudy. Like that. Okay, 6-7 might be dead, but we're funny.
Maybe we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, match 2 of Seal9 versus Ultimus is now on the cards. We're going to jump in to the match momentarily to see if Ultimus can get a draw out of this game, as we see Seal9 in the blue and Ultimus in the red. We'll see if Ultimus go back to the drawing board, maybe play this one a bit more aggressively, because you'd have to say match 1, Seal9 kind of just walked all over them and played the game at their own tempo. Didn't really leave Ultimus with a look in here, so have to wait and see immediately. Right off the cuff here, it's a 2v1 against Steph, and it could be first blood for Ultimus, so they are turning the aggression way up to 11, but both Piff and Entity now very low indeed. We'll get onto their champions in a minute because we have started this game off hot here. Cloudy trying to capitalize on Piff being low, but now Entity with a CC on Cloudy. It's going to be a 2v1. Cloudy now very low, trying to get that pick on Piff. Steph does come back just in time to take out Piff. Now a 2v1, and will it be 2-1 on the scoreboard here? Seal9 trying to crank up that aggression to just in kind for Ultimus, really coming in hot for the start of this game, but that engagement will die down. 1 kill apiece already. A far cry from match 1 between these two. We waited over 10 minutes for first blood, and now it's 1-1 inside 2 minutes. So with that said, let's take a minute to actually analyze the teams that we've got here. Obviously, champions, very important in Aram Mayhem.
Yeah, definitely an incredibly nasty knock up there from Steph as well, stopping the Vi from engaging. But champions, Steph here on Belveth. That kind of rhymes, actually. And Cloudy here on Vigar. Piff on Gnar, and Entity on Vi. Which is quite the switch up, actually. Gnar and Vi are very engagey, I will jump on you characters, okay? However, Belveth and Vigar, not Cloudy, are infinitely scaling champions. So whilst a little bit weaker in the early game, they will scale incredibly well. So Piff and Entity are going to want to finish this quickly, or Belveth and Veigar are going to do like incredible amounts of damage. Belveth scales with attack speed, so she will just keep getting attack speed, etc. And Vigar, upon hitting abilities, will gain infinitely sucking ability power. So a lot of ability damage. Steph looking for a knock up on the Vi there, but doesn't find much. But Cloudy hitting the stun on Gnar, but not much follow up. The Vi ulting onto Belveth. Belveth only just sneaking away on that, but left on just under half health.
Definitely, but no extra picks coming in here as we just tick over to 4 minutes gone here. 1-1 on the kills. Yet to see a turret get destroyed, but already a massively different game with Ultimus and Seal in kind turning up the aggression massively, not wanting to let Seal9 play this game at their own tempo like they did last game. And of course, Seal9 can take their foot off the brakes, or take their foot off the gas, maybe put their foot on the brakes a little bit, as their fate is now sealed. They find themselves in the playoffs with that win in match 1. The worst they can get out of this now is a draw, which will secure them a playoff spot here. So now Cloudy and Steph can just play however they want in this final match here in their 4th game here. in the league phase, and it could potentially, oh, they do actually claw that one back there. Cloudy gets the pick on Piff, but Entity takes out Steph, and now it's going to be 3-2 to Seal9 as Cloudy just about gets the pick on Entity as well, shutting down that Vi just as she gets to the turret. Cloudy now going to self B-side on that first turret so that he can go back and collect some augments. But now Seal9 take a 3-2 lead here, but still 0-0 on the turrets. No one yet to take out a turret. So I think this might be a bit more of actually a longer, more drawn-out game because, as you mentioned, Ultima's not letting Seal9 dictate this one.
Yes, a very backwards and forwards game at the moment. Naturally, as we saw Entity getting executed by that, not executed by that turret, getting killed by, I think, Cloudy, but the turret doing the majority of the work there. Cloudy here getting stun locked by those augments. Yeah, it looks like Vi's looking for an engage, but I don't think it's going to connect to anything at the moment. Piff in that Mega Gnar form, but it's not going to be able to make much use of it unless there's a little bit of misstepping here from Cloudy or Steph, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any. Yeah, pretty uneventful for the moment, and I think it's going to stay this way for a short while. I believe Vigar and Bel'Veth have caught up just a little bit in terms of power thanks to their scaling, so they are a little bit more of a threat at the moment. And Bel'Veth is a character that if she gets one kill, she gains incredible amounts of power, she gains a little bit of a transformation, she gains a lot of attack speed and lots of true damage. So yeah, not going to want to give her a kill, but can't really engage fully without fully committing.
Definitely is. Right now it's 3-2 to Seal9, so I think they're going to start to realize the potential of that Bel'Veth and the infinite scaling that that champion does offer. Of course, could become a real threat in the late game, which is of course the same way that Seal9 capitalized last time with that massive burst of aggression that single-handedly won them match 1 here. So Team Ultimus looking to try and salvage a draw, do not want to be handed their first loss of the season, but of course they have definitely been one of the strongest teams thus far. Seal9 of course looking to go absolutely perfect, unbeaten I believe in the league phase here with 2 draws and 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 draws, 1 win, something like that. Yeah. So they are also an incredibly strong team, potential favourites for the championship, but of course the pressure will ramp up when we get to the playoffs. We're now a double CC against Ultimus here, but Seal9 unable to capitalise. Piff down to half, will have to retreat there. As Gnar does go Mega, trying to potentially re-engage here, but nothing going at the moment. So again, the aggression just getting turned down a little bit here. I think Seal9 are trying to get Ultimus to again play to their tempo, but Ultimus looking a lot more aggressive, but Cloudy with an immediate pick there and a double kill for the Vigar there. Immediate aggression there, punished by Seal9. It's 5-2 now, and they will work on that first turret. Steph and Cloudy both very healthy, and that first turret will go down, and you know, powerless to stop them. It's now 1-0 on the turrets for Seal9, and they're going to work on some chip damage for that second one, but they are going to self-execute on the turrets here.
Yeah, Piff here looking to get that kill, but the turret getting to it just before he does. Vigar being a little bit of an antichrist here. Both Gnar and Vi looking to get those engages, but thanks to that Vigar cage, it just makes them really difficult for them to engage, as their engages are very telegraphed. As you see, that Vi channeling is very indicative of when he's about to go in. So it's really easy to just place that cage down, and as if they touch the border of it, they get stunned immediately, which will cancel that channel for Vi and gives them a lot, gives Bel'Veth a lot of free attacks, I suppose. Again, and she's a character that specializes in attack speed. She wants to get as many attacks off as possible, so having that pretty easily accessible stun from Vigar is pretty useful for her. Again, some very strategical picks from Steph and Cloudy here.
So definitely working well as a unit here, as they have done all season. They've shown their potency in the team fight area of things, and as you can see, they're 5-2 up on the kill board. You do not want to be fighting them if you can help it, and now being able to create that team synergy is all but compounding the issue for their opponents here. Ultimus having a really difficult time of it as Entity tries to engage Cloudy and does get a big bit of damage off. Now Meganar coming in. Steph, though, takes out Entity, and now Belveth is going to 2v1 alongside Meganar here, or against Meganar. Shut down there for Piff, but now 7-3 on the kill board. Belveth with a double kill is only going to worsen that scaling for Seal9. And that minion wave is going to come in droves here, and this could well be 2-0 on the turrets if Steph chooses to try and do some damage on the turrets. Does get some heals off, and now we are trying to take out that second turret and the minion wave. Entity has a quicker respawn. Does come in to stop Steph in his tracks, but of course Piff and Cloudy will be back in support for their respective teams in just a couple moments here. Steph, though, has to retreat. Cloudy not there. You see on the bottom right, Cloudy now in support, and that will tone down the aggression of this particular engagement. But Seal9, again, dictating the tempo here. Ultimus not really able to take the game into their own hands.
I fear I might have to bump up the... actually, I'm not sure if it's bumping up or bumping down, but bump up the Whimsy rating from 6.7 to 6.77 at this point. Because Steph just made some very whimsical plays, absolutely skinny dodging 2 Vi Qs even after Vi flashed, and then to just like pop the Randuin's Omen to slow Vi. Absolutely goofy. Steph looking for an engage on Entity here. Both of them getting stunned by that Vigar cage. Piff accidentally jumping into it as it came up, but absolutely carted by that Belveth. Now I'm going to be completely honest, if I see a Belveth and Aram, I just...
Problems.
No, I don't want to. Belveth is an incredible, like, fighter champion who thrives in getting picks. So in normal league, she struggles a little bit because she's not great in team fights. However, in these like smaller fights, she thrives.
And Steph is absolutely putting in an MVP performance right now, with, I believe, 6 kills so far in this game. Single-handedly has taken out Team Ultimus, I think, twice or 3 times over, with Entity able to get the ace there as Vi takes down Belveth to make it 9-4. But crucially, Seal9 have taken down both initial turrets and the red team inhibitor. So they've taken a massive, massive wad of power in this game, a massive power play to really put Ultimus on the back foot, potentially looking at their first loss here. And the minion wave will stop Ultimus in their tracks somewhat, slow them down. Cloudy now the first to respawn to protect that first turret, so Ultimus won't have an easy time of it. Belveth will be back in a couple of seconds here as well. However, a blue team turret does get destroyed here. So Piff and Entity are able to claw back a little bit of that disadvantage here to make it 3-1 essentially with respect to the turrets. But of course, an extra turret and an inhibitor is how Seal9 lead this game, and just their sheer aggression, you know, the killing spree that Belveth has been on, albeit recently taken down by Entity as Vi. Still, Seal9 proving themselves to be so strong. With respect to the team fights here, as you can see, 5 kills alongside Cloudy's 4 there. So a massive boost, no doubt, to Seal9's confidence here. And it's the same thing we've been seeing all season from this team. Very good at just picking, you know, left, right, and center with no struggles at all, really, no matter who they're against.
Yeah, I'm seeing some pretty strategical items here as well. Cloudy with that Seraph's Embrace to stop the burst damage, as it provides a pretty hefty shield. And Steph there with the Randuin's Omen, which reduces the crit damage, as Vi does quite a lot of crit damage, but also is able to slow them. So it gives them a bit of an opportunity to run up and chase them a little bit more. But also a Dead Man's Plate to give him that movement speed. As Belveth, because she scales so much, she doesn't necessarily need those damaging items, especially if those tanky items help her more, due to, especially in her ult form, actually, it gives her stacking true damage on her attacks. Look at looking for a little bit of an engage on Nah here. Nah getting that Mega Form, but won't do much with it. Probably in fear of that Vigar cage, as it is quite literally the bane of their existence at the moment.
Definitely Belveth being the thorn in Ultimus' side at the minute here, but the aggression as we tick over 15 minutes in game 2 here. Still unable to break through Seal9's defenses apart from that first turret. Ultimus backed into their own corner here. Of course, if Ultimus are able to stall enough, that red inhibitor will come back as you see those crystals, those gems do begin to reform. Those do make up the inhibitors that will eventually respawn and will put a bit of a hurdle back in the way of Seal9, but if they're able to take down one of those 2 turrets surrounding the Nexus at the back of the lane here, that inhibitor will no longer be able to respawn. And oftentimes when those turrets start to fall, that is usually game, set and match anyway. But right now the aggression very much coming down here. Ultima's starting to get a bit more of a hold on this match here, but we've seen this before. Seal9 can definitely turn up the aggression on a dime here when they need it most and wipe out teams like they're not even there. And ultimately that is what has been winning them games so far this season. So I think if I'm Team Ultimus, I wanted to keep my head on a swivel, trying to stay ready for when Seal9 do try and engage again.
Indeed, Piff looking for a little bit of an entry there whilst getting that Mega Gnar form, but again, that Vigar cage is a little bit too scary for them. Steph getting a knock up, but Piff getting a stun, negating that Belveth engage. Vigar looking for an engage on that Belveth, but gets stunned by that Vigar cage and then gets blown up by that Vigar ult. Piff having to run away, jumping out, bouncing off. He's got to bounce.
Now
Hitting a
10-4.
snowball on Belveth. Apologies there, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
You go, King, pop off.
I think I'm not the one popping off on the screen right now. I think it is
Oh,
all Seal9, although Seth stopped in his tracks there. Surrender vote failed. I don't think I think that's the first we've seen someone vote to surrender. We don't surrender in Hive Esports. We fight till the end here.
I know where all of you live. Don't try surrender. I will get you, okay? I will get you.
We don't surrender in Hive Esports. Absolutely not.
Yes, this is against the League of Legends Code of Conduct, actually. You cannot FF as you must play to the best of your ability. And forfeiting is not playing to the best of your ability. So, especially in tournament settings. Sorry. If you FF, I will hunt you down.
There you go. Official word from Hive Esports admin. We will hunt you down if you try and surrender vote. That is your one and only warning. Don't do it again. 10-5 the current score, so Seal9 again being super strong in the team fights. They did take out one of the turrets surrounding the Nexus, and of course the inhibitor again, it did respawn briefly. In fact, the second turret next to the Nexus is oh so perilously close to falling as well. So Seal9 definitely have the advantage at the minute, but it's been around the same amount of time as
Sorry.
What did you just do, George? Would you like to explain?
As the 6.7 on the winter scale suggests, Steph here has 67 stacks. Steph, the 6'7". Christ, I guess. Oh my god. Yeah. I pointed at it, and started 6'7". Bless his cottons. And he's on 62 CS, which is 5 away from 6'7". God, I hope he doesn't get 5 more CS. But it looks like he's about 64.
64 Zoo Lane. Absolute cinema.
Absolute nostalgia.
Honestly.
Chat, are we all? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Oh, Piff getting clattered by Belveth. Pretty much off screen there. Cloudy getting jumped by Vi, but Steph coming in for the rescue, just getting that pick on Vigar. But I think this might be it for Team Ultimus here.
It's a swift double kill as Belveth. Steph, an absolute killing machine. Steph, absolute killing machine. That final turret will be taken down. And that will be GG's clean sweep for Seal9. They defeat Team Ultimus 2-0. And that could potentially put Team Ultimus at the peril of a surprise elimination 12-6, 5-1 on the turrets, Seal9 domination in week 5, and they are through to the playoffs. Really, without a hitch there. Dominance.
They are indeed, and my prediction before this game was a 1-1. Sorry, Seal9. But yeah, proved me wrong. I will be losing £50. So, Team Ultimus, why would you do this to me?
You've bet money.
I bet money. What's it called when people do that?
Wager?
What's your wager?
Gamble.
Insider trading, apparently. Side betting. I don't know.
I'm about to say, I feel like that's like colluding. Because we like run it. And now you're betting on it. It's like a. It's
I
like you don't.
make the rules and I enforce them. I can make a side bet if I want.
It's like that. It's like that video. Corruption is bad. However, if I'm part of that corruption, I will defend it.
Corruption is only bad when I'm not benefiting from it. But anyways, we will be taking a short break and we hope you stay around. So we will see you in about 15 minutes.
2v1 stun now with Slim KZ, and you'd have to say that is going to be first blood for Steph Ash.
But yeah, both teams not equal, but LeBlanc catching that
Max HP, but now Steph and Slim now engaging Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's going to have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's going to leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable, and does get taken out there by Cloudy. Has a potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. Casey out of the just hits Steph on low health with that snipe Q. Alright, but getting the simple point in on Cloud, stun, getting that hook from the Sivir. CC everywhere here, and immediately a double stun there by Slim KZ. Huge CC there. Luke Silver though does get taken out. Another CC there, but it's going to be a double kill. Down to 2v1, Silver and Slim KZ both focusing Steph there as Malphite, and it's going to be.
I'm just going to take a little bit of damage, but New Silver getting blown up by that Kai'Sa, doing a little bit of damage there, but Amumu just surviving enough to get a little bit more damage back off them.
There, I'm not sure Steph's going to have the staying power, does not there, and that's going to be a big pick there for Cloudy. They do need 2-1 on the turrets, and they might be able to pick off Cloudy. They do shut down here by Slim KZ as Amumu. Steph again stunned. Has to retreat as Malphite. Cloudy does take out Luke Silver, which is a big pick for Seal9. Slim KZ as well taken out. Cloudy and comes Malphite, goes unstoppable, does with a massive ult there as Malphite there. He's going to take out for Slim KZ. He's managing almost to get Steph all the way down, but it's Cloudy that's there to finish potentially soon after Luke Silver. Targeted again, it's 12-6 here. Still Slim KZ yet to respawn. Now second turret down, and that is going to be a clean sweep for Seal9. 2-0 in the best of two. All 3 points. Domination. But now Pasta Lover, it does fall against Impromptu here. It's now 2v1, and it's a huge double kill now on the heels, and they will get that pick against, gets the roots there And now everyone is very low. Pastelova takes down Impromptu first, but Kisuna Maizon now with a huge double kill. Wipes out Svetev Jesini.
Jin here with the upgraded Infinity Edge, which is incredibly strong, especially.
But immediately Mordecai is getting ripped to shreds. Coco Slayer lands the pick down. Kisuna Maizon, a huge lover and Coco Slayer. I've never seen someone self-guard go down quite that quickly, to be honest with you. But Impromptu gets the revenge pick on Pastelova now. 7-6. Down, no! It's Impromptu with another pick there, I believe. They do 2-0 now on the turret set and 7-1 on the kill board. Kisuna Maizon with a massive pick down from the player. It may well be 8-1. It is a double kill for Pantheon. Trying to hold their advantage as best as possible here now. Stunned though, shuts down Impromptu and Kisuna Maizon with a swift double kill. Less than 12 minutes, Grompies are going to take match 2. The first engage, they're taunted though. 2v1 stun now is Slim KZ, and you'd have to say that is going to be first blood for Steph Ash.
But yeah, both teams not equal, but LeBlanc catching that
max HP. But now Steph and Slim now engaging Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's going to have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's going to leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable. And does get taken out there by Cloudy. Another potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. Slim KZ out of just hits Steph on low health with that spike Q. That's the second fight. Alright, but getting the simple going right in on the cloud, getting the stun, getting that hook from the Sivir. Some CC everywhere here, and immediately a double stun there by Slim KZ. Huge CC there. Luke Silver though does get taken out. Another CC there, but it's going to be a double kill. Down 2v1 Silver and Slim KZ, both focusing Steph there as Malphite, and it's going to be.
I'm just going to take a little bit of damage, but New Silver getting blown up by that Kai'Sa, doing a little bit of damage there, but Amumu just surviving enough to get a little bit more damage back off them.
There, I'm not sure Steph's going to have the staying power, does not there, and that's going to be a big pick there for Cloudy. They do lead 2-1 on the turrets, and they might be able to pick off Cloudy. They do, shut down here by Slim Casey as a Lulu. Steph again stunned, has to retreat as Malphite. Cloudy does take out Quicksilver, which is a big pick for Seal9. Slim Casey as well taken out. Cloudy, and comes Malphite, goes unstoppable, does with a massive ult there as Malphite there. He's going to take out for Slim Casey. Is managing almost to get Steph all the way down, but it's Cloudy that's there to finish potentially soon after Quicksilver. Targeted again, it's 12-6 here. And still Slim Casey yet to respawn. Now second turret down, and that is going to be a clean sweep for Seal9. 2-0 in the best of two. All 3 points. Domination. But now Pasta Lover, it does fall against Impromptu here. It's now 2v1, and it's a huge double kill now on the heels, and they will get that pick against, it gets the roots there. And now everyone is very low. Pasta Lover takes down Impromptu first, but Kisuna is on now with a huge double kill. Wipes out Svetev Jesini.
Jin here with the upgraded Infinity Edge, which is incredibly strong, especially.
But immediately Mordecai is getting ripped to shreds. Coco Slayer lands the pick down. Kisuna is on a huge Lover and Coco Slayer. I've never seen someone self-bar go down quite that quickly, to be honest with you. But Impromptu gets the revenge pick on Pasta Lover now. 7-1 on the keyboard. Kisuna on with a massive pick down Coco Slayer. It may well be 8-1. It is a double kill for Pantheon. Trying to hold their advantage as best as possible here. Now stunned though. Shuts down Impromptu. And he's going to make the swift double kill there. Less than 12 minutes, Grompies are going to take match 2. The first engage, they're taunted though. 2v1 stun now is Slim Casey, and you'd have to say that is going to be first blood for Steph Ash.
But yeah, both teams not equal, but LeBlanc catching that
max HP. But now Steph and Slim now engaging Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's going to have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's going to leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable. And does get taken out there by Cloudy. Has a potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. By
hits Steph on low health with that spike Q. Steph is going to be the second driver now. Alright, but I'm getting the snowball going right in on the cloud. Stun, getting that hook from the Sivir.
And welcome back to twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games, the live coverage of week 5 of season 1 of the Hive Esports League of Legends series. We've just had our first game of the day. That was Seal9 versus Team Ultimus. That ended with a 2-0 sweep for Seal9. However, now on the card, Yaoi Addicts Recovering versus Grompies. So they are currently 1st and 3rd in the league, tied formally with Seal9 and Team Ultimus respectively on 5 and 4 points each. Both of them find themselves above the elimination zone. So if either of these teams, well, for Grompies, if they draw or win, they are through to the playoffs automatically with a week to spare. The Yaoi Addicts need to win to clinch that same playoff spot. Right now, Seal9 lead the league on 8 points with their recent victory over Team Ultimus, so that puts them uncontested at the top, unless Grompies can follow suit with a sweep tonight. But Yaoi Addicts will, of course, be looking to stop them in their tracks. We're going to quickly have a chat about, firstly, Yaoi Addicts and their team composition, and have a greater look into the players that make up that squad with their player profile. And as you can see, Yaoi Addicts, brackets recovering, officially known, is made up of Yaoi Addict and Extra Thick.
First of all, I spelled Extra Thick wrong. Extra Thick is with a K, but whatever. As you can see here, their favorite champs are Nunu and Kale. As you may have noticed, this is the very old Nunu and the very old Kale. I included their old Nunu because look how goofy it looks. Hello, why would I not include that? And then old Kale just to fit the theme. Their playstyle is the best of both worlds. I did not change the caption below that, so Slow and Steady does not win this race. But they are the most inconsistent team. Like we've seen, they have either some genuinely incredible plays or some genuinely incredibly silly plays. So for that, they have earned the whimsy level of 8. Yeah, but yeah, like we've mentioned, as we've seen them play, some of their games have gone pretty well. I think they've won a game and drawn 2 other games.
One other game.
It's literally on the screen.
This is their third game.
It's on the Guys, let's talk about this. Where's my ukulele? I'm gonna apology video. Yes, they have
Ballinger.
That is me. That is me. Okay.
I would hope not.
I can't remember how the song goes, so I'm not going to try to sing it. But yes, they have won 1 game and they have drawn another game, and they're on their 3rd game right now. So despite only playing 2 games, they're on 4 points, which means they have 2 opportunities to get 3 points. So they can get a maximum of 6 points and a minimum of 0. They can get 0, 2, 5, or 6 points. I'm a maths genius. I'm a maths genius, guys. B maths. But yes, a very whimsical team. I've seen them pop in a move occasionally, pop in a flash. Yeah, some very silly people.
Definitely, and of course, taking that into account, what we've seen from Yaoi Addicts, what we see on their player profile, what could we be potentially seeing from them tonight? Of course, with the added stipulation that they are in they are vying for one of 4 very exclusive playoff spots in the semi-final.
Indubitably. While they are against Grompies, the top team at the moment, I believe Grompies have played 2 games as well. I might be wrong. Yeah. No, they've played 3. They've drawn 2 and won 1. I remember that.
Yes.
So this is their last game today, so their last chance to clinch those points. But they're doing really well. So I think, personally, again, this game's going to go 1-1, but prove me wrong. Actually, please don't. I've put money on this.
Again.
Well, I've let them know. So, actually, is that better or worse? I don't know. I think it's worse.
I don't know.
We're about to find out.
Dodgy dealings.
This game. Chat, I'm fine. I don't need help. Anyways, an immediate first engage by Kitsune Maison on Maokai, going in on Yaoi Addict as Trundle. Tristana on Improv. impromptu on Tristana with that follow-up, hitting that snowball, gonna take out Yaoi Addict. Guys, let me breathe. Let me introduce you. Yeah, well, apologies. Impromptu hit on Tristana, a character that scales incredibly well. However, it does have, excuse me, a lot of combat power. It's a very dually ADC. Bless Yaoi Addict trying to have a little jig there. But Kitsune Maizan on Maokai, some champions that we've seen very familiar. Champions that are very familiar. Extra Thick with that very silly Goofer play going in on absolutely nothing, but that is going to land him in that gray screen. But yes. Anyways, Yaoi Addict here on Trundle. Trundle, a very good tank busting and fighting champion, so a really good character to have in Aram Mayhem. And the same goes for Ambessa, who is being played by Extra Thick, a champion that excels in those 1v1 fights, so going to be able to catch up onto that Tristana. So I think this is a very even game. However, the Yaoi Addicts are 2 kills down in 2 minutes. And now I can breathe.
Not the best start to be 2 kills down inside a couple minutes. In fact, that is the quickest first blood we have seen so far. Just 56 seconds for Grompies to take the lead in this match. However, Yaoi Addicts looking to take it right back, getting impromptu all the way down to a third, but now Kitsune Maizan trying to retaliate. Yaoi Addicts not on the health needed to try and re-engage, and that could well be 3-0 as he does get CC'd and potentially fought as Extra Thick under pressure yet again here. But Kitsune Maizan and Impromptu both down fairly low on HP. Extra Thick trying to peek around the turret, which is going to soon be under fire. Does get CC taken airborne. Extra Thick with the pick. Ooh, bars on Impromptu. Kitsune Maizan though on something of a killing spree, will self-execute. However, Yaoi Addict, Extra Thick rather, getting credited for the kill on Kitsune Maizan, who was trying to self-execute on the turret. So now everyone that's been taken out at least once, meaning they are all able to collect some augments with the gold they have mustered up so far. But a start far removed from the first 2 matches we've seen between Seal9 and Team Ultimus. Within just 3 minutes, it's 4-2 already. And we're straight back into another engaged Kitsune Maizan, already lasering Extra Thick down to about half of the route. But nothing going there in terms of a pick. But this is a quick starting match.
Indeed, and already proving why they are the most inconsistent team. As we saw some very goofy first plays, but then we saw an incredible under-turret play there from Extra Thick, getting that kill on the Tristana, but Tristana ulting them back, taking them away from the fight, but then ulting the Maokai ult, which renders Ambessa unstoppable, so avoiding the CC of that ult and then getting behind the Maokai. Maokai getting executed by that turret as he couldn't really do much else, but yeah, going in on the Yaoi Addict here. Not going to find much, but Ambessa jumping in on the Tristana, going to find quite a lot of damage. But will he be able to? The Trundle pillar taking Tristana back into the fight, but Extra Thick is going to get taken out due to the CC from Kitsune Maizan, and that tankiness going to be a little bit tedious, impervious, one might say.
Immediately the bulk and the CC ability for Kitsune Maizan as Trundle proving really, really dangerous here. I believe has already got 3 picks just by himself here, if not 4. And again, rooting Yaoi Addict and absolutely no way out there. 6-2, and that first turret is looking in a certain bit of trouble there. Going unstoppable is Extra Thick. But blue team do take out that first turret. Impromptu still staying alive. Rooted again is Extra Thick. Kitsune Maizan there playing defense for Impromptu, who stays alive on about 10%. And it's 1-0 now to Grompies on the turret score. Impromptu now perilously low on HP, but again getting CC'd is Extra Thick. And it is going to be 7-2. Impromptu credited with the kill there. So immediately, Yaoi Addicts not getting the picks that they need in these team fights. Kitsune Maizan absolutely eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. With no way home for Team Red, although potentially Yaoi Addicts looking at a double kill, but just getting lasered from both angles and unable to retaliate. And is now being pushed back into his own half here. Potentially further pain being double in comes Extra Thick, so now a massive health advantage. But stunned and rooted again, but shut down And a double kill for Extra Thick and for Yowie Addict makes it 7-4. So a solid team fight win there for Yowie Addicts as they look to push that first turret to try and even things up. But immediately, Grompies are taking it to the Yowie Addicts here and trying to get themselves a very, very easy route into the playoffs.
Yeah, gonna take this turret here as Tristana comes back, but gonna jump away. Unfortunately, that Trundle killer just unable to catch her off. But yeah, I'm not sure if you saw earlier, but both Tristana and Maokai were stood in each other while the Ambessa was trying to kill that very low health Tristana. But because of how fat Maokai is, Ambessa just couldn't get an auto attack on Tristana. But then the Eclipse shield saving them as well, like kind of crazy. But Ambessa going in for an ult on the Tristana, but Trundle is going to get taken out there, and the Tristana is going to go back in on Extra Thick, land a bomb, but unfortunately not much left to follow up there.
It's now 8-4 on the kill board. Minion waves being taken out in droves as red team now. Yowie Addicts recovering, pushed back to the second turret here, rooted again. That CC from Maokai proving so strong, so dangerous. Kitsune Maison absolutely tearing apart Yowie Addicts here, almost completely by himself here. And again, another big root there as that second turret starts to get damaged. Yowie Addict though with a big pick on Impromptu and a double kill. So Trundle now 9-6 with a big double kill, proving to be very strong. Yowie Addicts can win the team fights. It is very much a back and forth game at the minute, but that early advantage, that early bloodbath really, that Grompies put on Yowie Addicts being the main difference maker so far. But it'll be back to the drawing board for Grompies. Some augment purchases. Leandri's Torment purchased by Kitsune Maison as Maokai here. So not many purchases at the minute for augments as they now head back into the fight. It's not even 10 minutes have gone, and it's already 9-6, and with one turret down a piece here. So a very even game so far. It's just Grompies winning the team fights.
Yeah, I saw some of those components as well. Ambessa looking for that Black Cleaver and Trundle looking for that Blade of the Ruined King. Both of which are incredible tank busting options, which are going to prove incredibly useful against this Maokai. They both work pretty well within this team comp as well, especially that Black Cleaver, going to reduce the armor of the enemy, which is going to be useful thanks to Trundle being primarily AD damage, and also that current health damage from Blade of the Ruined King is going to benefit as well. But Ambessa getting an ult on Impromptu here. Impromptu getting knocked down by that Trundle killer, so unable to escape away, but gets an ult off, knocking Extra Thick back, having to fight this Maokai here. But thanks to the healing from Trundle ult, is going to survive long enough to get that damage out. And Tristana getting caught in the fray there, just unable to get away. But Kitsune Maison as Maokai is going to get collapsed on.
It's a 2v1 hit. Kitsune Maison not looking in the best of ways here. And it's going to be an ace now. An absolute killing spree, you'd have to say, for Yowie Addict at the minute. As Trundle tearing apart Grompies now. The momentum beginning to swing the way of Yowie Addicts here. And potentially pushing that second turret. They are going to start working on it down to half here. Impromptu has respawned. And will get there in time. But it's 2-1 now to Yowie Addicts. They take the lead on the turrets. And it's a 2v1, but Impromptu does take down Extra Thick and does manage to escape Yowie Addict here as well, as Kitsune Maison now comes back in. So it's 10-8 now to Grompies, and it's going to be a 2v1 that really doesn't look too good. Yowie Addict on a rampage, though, does manage to take out Impromptu, although is probably going to fall to Kitsune Maison here after getting rooted, just unable to do really anything, and it will be an ace there. And a double kill for Kitsune Maison, 11-9 now. But crucially, Yowie Addicts do lead this game now 2 turrets to 1.
Indeed, as we just saw there, that Black Cleaver and the Blade of the Ruined King. Apologies, if they weren't strong already, they're going to be strong now. Bramble Vest being purchased by both Trundle and Maokai. Crucial anti-healing, as both teams have quite a lot of healing. Especially that Maokai and the Trundle. However, the Bramble Vest on Maokai might not do much, as Ambessa herself gains an innate, like, 10 to 30% armor shred in her ultimate passive. But not only that, she now has Black Cleaver. So that armor shred is just going to be pretty intense. It's going to give them a lot of tank busting ability while having a lot of damage for that Tristana anyway. Especially if they're able to get that Tristana first, because they might be looking for a pick on the Trundle, but not going to get much off of it. Trundle looking for some damage back on, but Ambessa hitting that ult on Tristana, going to be given an incredible engage, but Tristana unable to get away, ulting the Ambessa backwards, but allowing the Ambessa to walk back up. And unfortunately, Kitsune Maison isn't going to be able to do anything against both Ambessa and Trundle.
And that is another massive team fight win there for Yaoyadix. Another double kill for Yaoyadix himself, up to 7 kills in this game alone. And it's all tied up, 11 kills apiece on 11 minutes over. So it is a game of lucky 11s so far. 2-1 as well to Yaoyadix. So they are taking it to who are currently second place in the league, and really looking to clinch a spot in the playoffs early. And it will really put a dent in Grumpy's playoff hopes here. And Yaoyadix now are going to take a big lead in this first game. They destroy the blue inhibitor and will now potentially look to work on those inhibitors, though. Kitsune Maison from the back line jumps on Yaoyadix, looking to put a stop to that advance. But now a 2v1 impromptu, trying to do something from the back here. But Kitsune Maison getting swamped here as Maokai. Rooted, though, is Yaoyadix, and getting slowly whittled down here. Impromptu doing the business here, being the difference maker with that sustain, and a double kill now for Team Blue is going to turn the tides of this game massively. They take back the lead here, 13-11. But of course, Grompies have work to do on those turrets if they're to take the lead back in this game overall, rather than just on kills. But a brilliant team fight there, specifically as well from Impromptu, staying on full health and just doing the damage, while Kitsune Maison was able to hold off that 2v1 just long enough.
Yeah, that might be my second favorite fight in the Hive Esports. I don't know, something about that was just so whimsical. Like the awkward flash from Impromptu, and then the Ambessa walking under turret, and then them both just surviving on really low health. As you see, Ambessa getting the ult again on the Tristana. Tristana having to both jump and flash away, but Trundle is just going to absolutely diddle this Maokai in the back. But while the Ambessa diddles the Tristana in the front, that sounds horrible actually, pause. But Tristana doing just enough damage to take out the Ambessa, but Maokai getting stuck by this Trundle pillar. It is now just a battle of who can out-heal the other one. And I think it's Trundle.
Trundle does get rooted though, sent airborne. Kitsune Maison with that bulk is just hanging on a slither of health. That is going to be frustrating Yaoyadix so much, but does get the pick. It's 14-13 here. So again, the Yaoyadix do win another team fight here, and they will respawn quicker. Extra Thick will be back in the game just about now. Impromptu will spawn right about now as well, but 20 seconds before Maokai is back in the game here. And Extra Thick is going to teleport straight over to Yaoyadix to try and help that advance, but of course Tristana is there to try and put a stop to it. But right now, Ambessa and Trundle looking to be a very, very good combo in these fights. They're winning a lot of them now, as Extra Thick's Discord has gone down. Oh no.
Bless his cons. Probably just means that his Discord has crashed, which shouldn't be too difficult or too difference-making. It just means they won't be able to communicate. However, I'm not sure how much they're going to need to, because their game plan is pretty set in stone already. Jump on that Tristana. As we saw there, that Ambessa getting the ult from a million miles away, and now it is just take out the Maokai. It's like a big punching bag. Just hit it as much as you can. While it does do damage and it does heal, it's unfortunately not going to do much against two of the best people at taking down tanks. And this might be it for Yaoyadix. I nearly said so long.
This is going to be a big, big win if they can pull it off for Yaoyadix. So they take the lead 15-14. This is one of the highest scoring games we have seen so far. They take out both turrets. Still 5 seconds for Impromptu, as Tristana is going to be back in the game. That Nexus getting torn apart. Impromptu is going to respawn, but it won't be in time. It's going to be a very well played, very close fought game between Yaoyadix recovering and between Grompies, but it's the Yaoyadix that take a dominant first win in this game after going initially behind 3-0 at the start, and it looked like Grompies might have been walking all over them, but they were winning those team fights, coordinating well against Tristana in the back after Tristana was initially causing a lot of problems, and they just coordinated really, really well and eventually got it done.
They did indeed. There were some incredible champion picks from Yaoi Addicts there. And Bessa and Trundle just go really well against Maokai and Tristana, unfortunately. While Maokai and Tristana are some really good picks in general, especially in Aram Mayhem, they just got really heavily, unluckily counterpicked, I fear. But yeah, they still played it really well in the early game, but unfortunately there just wasn't much they could do past that like 10-minute marks. But very well played from both teams though.
Definitely in a very aggressive game, and we'll touch quickly on Grompies, the unfortunate losers of that first game. But of course, still all to play for. If they do manage to salvage a draw here, they will qualify still for the playoffs. So we'll look at Grompies player profiles in just a moment now. We see Impromptu and Ty, their favorite champs, Galio and Thresh. And as you can see, they like to play a bit more strategical. Although, as we saw in game one just now, they are not afraid to be aggressive.
Indeed, I'm very glad I got this one right. I put Ty as Ty because I was not going to put Kitsune Maizan up there. Do you know how much trouble I have putting Sveti Vishaseni in all of these? Okay, I'm not putting Kitsune Maizu up there. But yes, Impromptu and Ty, their main characters, Galio and Thresh, look at them looking very goofy over there. Like we mentioned, very strategical. And like we've seen, they haven't had any like really silly plays. But I'm not sure actually how active they are in League, but I believe they don't play very often. I was looking at their ob.ggs and they don't seem to have been playing very often. I did put their Whimsy level at 3, however, I might have to bump that up after seeing this match, at least to like a 5 or a 6. But yes, as we can see, a really good track record at the moment. 2 drawn games and one game. That's always a weird one. One. I'm one. Speaking of the number 1, the double 11, the triple 11. If anyone believes in manifesting, not conspiracies, superstitions. Angel never make a wish on the 11/11. Apologies, I went on a really far tangent there, but over to you, Will.
Yeah, definitely. I think Grompies have sort of been looking very strong. We saw how good they were in team fights sort of earlier on in the game, but Yaoi Alex as well, they were equal to it. Definitely very composed. They do strike me as a very, very chilled out team. They're not necessarily going to be feeling the pressure most, but this is the point where actually the pressure is going to be ramping up now, because this is their 4th and final game, so they'll have no more opportunities to qualify for the playoffs. After this, beyond that, the fate is kind of out of their hands. They need to salvage a draw out of this game to qualify for the playoffs. If they fail to do so, they will have given one away to Yaoi Addicts and given one of Nat and Joe or Sveti Vishesini away in potentially for, I think, what would be a bit of a shock elimination, honestly. Grompies look really, really strong. So I think it would be definitely something of a surprise to see them go out. I don't think they will. I do think they can claw this back. I think sort of closing out games, actually, I think has been one of Yaoi Addicts' biggest weaknesses in terms of they'll usually have to claw back a draw. They won't quite be able to see out or win. But of course, we'll have to wait and see in just a couple minutes. But we'll get a quick prediction, George, from you for who will take this second and final game of this bracket.
Well, again, I said it would be a draw at the start. I still think it could be a draw. I still think the Grompies could bring this back. Again, we've seen their like incredibly composed gameplay, so I don't think they're going to fold under this pressure at all. But even then, they still have a pretty stable position in the leaderboard. So even if it doesn't go their way, I think they'll be fine.
Definitely, and I think just to be a contrarian, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say Yaoi Addicts to make it 2-0. Obviously, that would break a trend, sort of they've not really been able to see out those games. They've got one win, of course. Yeah. But still, many draws, and of course that one loss sort of stunting their growth a little bit. I do think they could be quite a bit further up the table if not for that slightly lesser execution. But I think they can change that. I think a second win could be on the cards for Yowie Addicts here. But of course, still waiting to go. So just quickly, obviously, we mentioned how Grompies tend to play. They tend to be very composed, very strategic. Do you think they might have to change that a little bit to get past Yowie Addicts? Because I think maybe they might have to go back to the drawing board after that loss.
If they get some, again, it's very like dependent on what they get. It's incredibly RNG. But actually, sorry, really random. Do you how many champions do you think you remember?
Oh, just in general?
Just in general.
I would be lucky to name 15.
Okay.
Only because I've seen so many.
Okay. Side betting. Side betting. Who do you think is going to appear in this game?
Oh, okay. I'll just start rattling off champions.
Yeah.
I'll name
Go
4
for
champions that I know.
champions.
Briar,
Okay. Yeah. You got this.
Misfortune.
Yeah. Okay.
So you put me on the spot now. I can't name anything.
I have. You got this.
Tom Kench
Tom Kench. Yeah.
and Annie. There you go.
Okay. If one of those comes up, you get a pat on the back. And we're about to see if you're correct.
There we go. We're going to jump in for match 2 of game 2 of week 5. I don't recognize any of the icons on the screen, so I don't think I've won my pat on the back,
No.
unfortunately.
No.
My chances are pretty low. There's about 200 champions in this
Yeah, I
game.
think like 173 to be exact. But yeah, a snowball in already, but not much is going to come of it. But actually, Yowie Addict on Rumble is going to come in with that little flamethrower, going to get quite a bit of damage off on that Kai'Sa, but going to take a considerable amount of damage himself. Yes, so like we mentioned, Yowie Addict here is on Rumble and Extra Thick is on Heimerdinger. This is going to be a very burn comp, so lots of damage over time, but Rumble is pretty tanky and can sustain himself pretty well and does incredible amounts of damage. And we have Impromptu on Nami, who has just hit a bubble on Yowie Addict, but there's going to be no further engage from that. And Kitsune Maisen on Kai'Sa. I'm not sure. I think we've definitely seen Kai'Sa. I'm not sure if we've seen a Nami in this. Another Nami bubble on that Yowie Addict, but yeah.
So already not shying away from the aggression, albeit it's not exactly 56 seconds as it was in the first match here. But Yowie Addict's already down to just under half here. Everyone else still slightly wounded. Extra Thick, though, still in tip-top shape there as Heimerdinger. I should have said Heimerdinger. He's one of my favorite because he's got such a funny little name. Heimerdinger.
Heimerding-dong.
Heimerdinger. But alas, the pat on the back allude to me. But we'll certainly be giving a pat on the back to whoever can take a victory in this one, because of course whoever wins this specific match will take a playoff spot, either through winning in the case of Yowie Addicts or being able to get a draw in the case of Grompies. A draw is what Grompies need, a win is what Yowie Addicts need. So whoever wins this match goes through automatically to the playoffs, and there will be only 2 spaces left in the postseason for any of the 4 remaining teams to take. So the pressure will be ramped up to 11 in week 6. And so in this week 5 match, these 2 teams just looking to try and put things beyond doubt so that they don't have to worry about trying to scalp together a playoff push at the very last moment. But 3 minutes in, still 0-0 on the kill boards here. Some light CC, but obviously nobody home really. But generally, how are the teams looking in terms of composition? Is this sort of an even fight, or does one team already have a bit of an advantage here?
I think so. The Kai'Sa has a lot of like hyper carry potential. So if she survives, she's going to output lots of damage, but she's going to get picked by Extra Thick here. But Nami's going to get the bubble, but that Rumble ult going to zone them off incredibly. But that ult is just going to do too much damage, and like we mentioned, Rumble doing lots of damage. Yes. Like I was saying, anyways, apologies. Kai'Sa, an incredible hyper carry champion, so if she's able to survive, she's going to be able to output lots of damage. However, due to the nature of Heimerdinger and Rumble, they're going to be able to get... actually, this is really unfortunate. Rumble and Heimerdinger are incredible at zoning, so keeping the Nami off the Kai'Sa is going to be really easy. But unfortunately for the Kai'Sa, she needs that Nami to be able to survive and output all of that damage, which is going to ult on the Yaoi Addict here, but not going to find much from it. Yaoi Addict just able to escape away while they wait for Extra Thing to come back, but Nami's going to get a little bubble on Rumble. Another little note is that Kai'Sa has cheating, which we've seen before, which allows her to recall whenever she likes, which is going to give her a little bit of an advantage, and she's going to be able to get those items. And yeah, oh my god.
And just in the nick of time, Extra Thick comes in to play shield for Yaoi Addict as Rumble. Heimerdinger scuttling around the front lines here, trying to get a couple picks. As you mentioned, that Heimerdinger Rumble combo could be very potent here, and already Kitsune Maison a bit low on health, and Heimerdinger looking to pressure here. Those rockets misfiring just slightly, but they're already pushing Grumpy's, back towards their first turret here. Rumble taking a little bit of damage. You mentioned Kai'Sa with some really, really strong damage output, but Rumble trying to pressure, but getting CC'd now is Extra Thick, so sort of really, really difficult for both of these teams to break through the other. But now really jumping in on Kitsune Maison. Yaoi Addict on a killing spree. It's going to be a 2v1, and it is 4-0 to Yaoi Addicts as they score another ace here. Yaoi Addict as Rumble on a killing spree here. And they take out that minion wave, and they're going to start working on that first turret. And they take a 4-0 lead and make it a 1-0 lead on the turrets. They are taking it to Grumpy so far in this second match.
Yeah, that was incredibly goofy, actually. I can't remember who flashed, but Heimerdinger put a turret down, and then Nami snowballed to the turret, which did absolutely nothing, and then missed the bubble, and then someone had a really awkward flash. Very whimsical. Like, both teams getting their whimsy scores up after this game, that's for sure. Actually, speaking of whimsy, a little bee told me that due to the Discord issues, they are both now on call in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft
Talk about making do. Talk about making do.
Wow, they are both men at work, working men, so they use Teams often. So probably not too different from what they're used to, but definitely a new one for Hive Esports. Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Beams might be the way to go. They're 4-0 up at the minute, and it could well be more as Kitsune Maison just gets absolutely lasered. Yaoi Addict is on an absolute tear. Another double kill. That is 5 in a row, and it is now 6-0, and they're trying to take out the second turret now.
Yeah, Rumble is a force in himself. Again, if I saw Rumble in ARAM, I'd start crying. Rumble just is able to output incredible amounts of damage, thanks to his burn doing max health damage, but his E, which is that little rocket that he fires, doing shredding magic resist actually, which is very beneficial as Heimerdinger also does primarily magic damage. Rumble gonna get knocked up by that Nami bubble, but not much is gonna be found off of it. Actually, instead, Kai'Sa is gonna be found burning alive, as both Rumble and Extra Thick like that burn. But Rumble has a super ultimate, which is just a really strong ultimate, to be fair, which again does incredible amounts of damage. But this Nami is about to get absolutely violated as they get jump scared from the bush, but Yaoi Addict and Extra Thick are just going to take out Kai'Sa.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing they could do, especially because Yaoi Addict has Vampirism, so he just has 25% Omnivamp, so he's going to be healing from all of that damage he deals. And I feel bad for Grumpies. There's not much they can do here, unfortunately.
This might be easily the most dominant performance. We said during this quick break that we had that Yaoi Addicts aren't necessarily the best at closing out games. This is about the most clinical any team has been in any game. 8-0 to start things off, and they're going to take out the blue team inhibitor right about now. And again, although Rumble is going to get stunned up at the top right of the screen there, but still 9-0, Extra Thick on an absolute tear. Now Nami all by themselves. Rumble just peppering Impromptu, does get stunned, but now Kai'Sa all by themselves. It is 10-0 to Yaoi Addicts. They are absolutely tearing Grumpies to pieces here. Nothing they can do. and they're now trying to take out the Nexus already. It's not even been 10 minutes. Back comes Rumble for some support, taking out the minion waves here. Kitsune Maison will now respawn on that first turret, so they won't get any turrets taken out near the Nexus, at least not without any resistance. But that first turret is going to go down, so now the inhibitor will not respawn here. Grompies absolutely with their backs against the wall, now stunned again, taken airborne, but now 10-1 here as Kitsune Maison with a very, very strong pick against Extra Thick, and now Kitsune Maison takes down Yaoi Addict as well, so now it is 11-2, but Grompies have got a long way back from here, especially now. Yaoi Addict and Extra Thick can purchase some augments now that they've finally been killed. But Grompies find themselves with just half a turret and the Nexus remaining, and there's a massive minion wave that's taking out the turrets all by itself here without Yaoi Addict or Extra Thick needing to do anything. This has been utter domination so far, and they're going to immediately jump back on those turrets to see if they can take it down, and already without having to do anything, the second turret by the Nexus has gone down. They now lead 5-0 on the turrets and 11-2 on the kill board, and they're just waiting now for the right time to push. Kitsune Maison finally taking out that seemingly never-ending minion wave, but Yaoi Addict, you'd have to say, have got one foot in the door in the playoffs as they are absolutely tearing apart Grompies here. They do have to work through this minion wave that will have built up quite a bit over time while they were taken down. But Impromptu and Kitsune Maison now just camping the Nexus, but Yaoi Addict and Extra Thick now are here immediately. Rumble jumping on Kitsune Maison, down to half, down to a quarter, immediately peppered. Impromptu now in a 2v1 situation. Again, just going to get absolutely destroyed. The damage output, obscene from Yaoi Addicts, and they surely now are going to start taking down the Nexus here. And they will take an absolutely dominant victory in just 11 minutes, 13-2. Grompies didn't stand so much as a chance. And that is going to be Yaoi Addicts with a dominant 2-0 victory against Grompies, one of the strongest performances we've seen so far. And they will accompany Seal9 as being locked into the playoffs a week early. That was dominant.
Yeah, 1 foot in the door, both feet.
Both feet in the door.
Okay, whole body through. Okay, they've
shut the door behind them.
Past the door.
Wow.
Yeah, that was incredible. Like, unfortunately, that play at the end, the Nami going behind, I saw the vision. It was actually pretty creative play, actually. But unfortunately, that Rumble just did not respond to the Nami and just went for the Kai'Sa, bless her cottons, and just got absolutely obliterated. Unfortunately for Kai'Sa, there's not much she could do against that Rumble due to the amount of damage Rumble can do. But like we mentioned as well, that Vampirism, getting that 25% Omni-Vamp for free, essentially. Just insane amounts of damage. But yeah, that is both Seal9 and Yaoi Addicts safely through to the finals.
Absolutely. The playoffs of the week to spare. They've got another hurdle to get through to the finals, but they can already start booking their tickets now to the same map that we've been playing on all season long in the semi-finals. We haven't changed map all season, and I don't think we're going to. But that is going to just about sum things up. But one more thing I do want to do before we do sign off. We've already welcomed 2 teams to the playoffs in Seal9 and Yaoi Addicts, who will, as the leaderboard will update soon, accompany first and second place. There are 4 teams vying for 2 spots left in the playoffs. The question is, George, who goes through?
Oof. Oh, that's a really good. Ooh. I would love to see Nat and Joe make a comeback. But I really don't know. I really, again, this, like, no, whenever I make a prediction, I'm proven wrong. I've lost so much money on this, please. But yeah, some incredible games. However, we are coming to the end of this today, not the tournament. But I will say, after today, we will be going on a 3-week break, so bees can have a little Easter holiday, and we will be back after that. So week 6 will be the last round robin phase, so the last chance to get points for the 4 teams that will be playing, and then after that we will be going into the playoff stage, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. So April 22nd will be the next time you'll be watching live on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games for the finale of the league phase week 6 before we head into the playoffs. 4 weeks of competition plus a little fun game at the end, of course. That will be week 10 to round things off for season 1 of the Hive Esports League of Legends series, where we will crown our 2nd ever champion. Can Nat and Joe make the comeback and make Newt Silver a 2-time Hive Esports champion, or will a newbie take the throne in the Hive? We'll have to wait and see very shortly which 2 teams will accompany Seal9 and Yaoi Addict recovering in the playoff phases at the end of week 6. But for now, thank you so very much for watching. Thank you to our worker bees behind the screen, producing everything that you're seeing on the screen. Thank you to George for accompanying me, and for all the viewers, again, watching at home. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
2v1 stun now with Slim KZ, and you'd have to say that is going to be first blood for Steph Ash.
But yeah, both teams not equal, but LeBlanc catching that
max HP. But now Steph and Slim now engaging Shen very low, and Shen is down there. Steph's going to have to wait 20 seconds to get back into the fight. That's going to leave Cloudy vulnerable in a 2v1. Slim is actually vulnerable and does get taken out there by Cloudy. Another potential self-execute there, but they only get a double kill. Slim KZ out of the